Hi everyone, it's me Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. Today's tutorial is going to be, as you've seen in the pictures prior to the video, a market bag / beach bag, however you want to look at it or use it. You can make it extremely big, you can make it a little smaller, that's up to you. It's very versatile. I'm going to give you what I did to make mine. Okay, so you can use acrylic yarn if you would like. I am using cotton yarn for this tutorial. This is just like peaches and cream type yarn. It is just black. And then I have some I Love This Cotton by Hobby Lobby. I'm going to be using a 6mm crochet hook. You'll also need a needle to sew in your ends and a pair of scissors. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to be starting with the black. The majority of the project is done in the greens, but we're going to start with the black. So what you're going to want to do is place a slip knot on your hook and chain 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You're going to count back 8 chains, and I'm going to zoom in for that part. So we're going to count back 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, all the way back here. And we're going to place 3 double crochets into that chain to start with. So 3 double crochets into that chain. Here is 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 2 and place 3 more double crochets back into that same stitch. So chain 1 and 2 and 3 more double crochets. It's 2 and 3. Now we're going to skip over to our very last chain. So you're skipping 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th chain, we're going to place 1 double crochet. Now we're going to do our repeat row. So this is the first one. You're going to chain 1, 2, and 3, turn your work, and we're going to repeat this right here into the chain 2 space. So we're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all into that chain 2 space. And all we're doing is just stacking these on top of each other. So you have a total of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Just like that. And then you're going to place a double crochet into the top of your turning chain here. And then just repeat. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Turn your work over and then place 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space. And we're going to continue making this same repeat row over and over again until we have the length that we need for the circumference of the top of the bag. So that's what we're working on right now, is the opening for the top of your bag. And if you've ever done the mile a minute blanket, this will become very, very easy for you, and you'll zip right through this part. Okay. So here's what we're looking at. Just like that. And for my bag, my pattern, I have a total of 33 of these shells. We reached 32. Okay, so I now have one shell left to do, and we will connect as we go. So here we go. So we have both ends. I'm going to bring the other end around to the back of the work here. And chain 1, 2, 3. Got fuzz on it. And now I'm going to slip stitch to the third chain. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to slip stitch to that chain. And now I'm going to turn my work so I can work the rest of this. So here's our shell right here. And we're going to do our first set of 3 double crochets into it. So 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to chain 1. And right here at the base of the very first shell, we're going to insert our hook and pull up a loop through that and slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 1 more, and we're going to go back into where we're working the double crochet cluster and place 3 more double crochets. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to do this slip stitch again, these 2 ends. So our very first start where our tail is from the very, very beginning, you're going to insert your hook into there. And let's see, yarn over, make sure I can get everything situated so you can see it. Yarn over, and we're going to go down into the turning chain from the row before, which we're working the end of 33, shell 33, and we're closing it up with the very first shell we started with. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the turning chain of the last shell that was made, and pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, and you will have 3 loops on your hook. You have an extra loop from that sliding your hook through that starting chain right there. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to go through all 3. And I'm going to stick a stitch marker in here. There we go. There's a stitch marker. Now you can see how we are connected all the way around. Let me get that out of the way here. So we are connected all the way around. When we do our trim here, that part will go away and you won't even notice that it's a little awkward looking right there. Now you can sew it together if you would like. You can do however you wish. I do it that way because then it's a continuous, the shells are continuous going all the way around and there's no break in the pattern. But now we have the circumference of our bag. And now we're going to start working on the trim to go around this. So what I'm going to do is pull up a loop here and cut off my black. And I'm going to be switching over to the green at this point. So that's that. And I will work over my tails. Now for the trim on this, I will be using the trim and the body of the bag itself. I will be using the I Love This cotton. And you can use whatever you choose. This is just, I have a couple of skeins of it, so I decided to use it. Plus, I like the color green. So I'm going to place a slip knot on my hook, continuing with the same hook size. I'm going to go into where these all meet up together and pull that through and chain one just to kind of lock it in place. And now I'm going to place a half double crochet into that same space. I'm going to place a stitch marker on that first half double crochet just so I know where I need to end the round right there. And now you're just going to work your way all the way around, evenly spacing out half double crochets. So just one half double crochet there, and then we have a chain right here of 2, so I'm going to put 2 double crochets into, or 2 half double crochets into that area. Then I have this right here. I'm going to place a half double crochet in it. And again, I'm just working over the top of these tails. Now we're to the next chain, and I'm going to work 2 half double crochets over the top of that chain. Then we're to the next shell, work a half double crochet into the side of that shell. So this will give you an idea. Let me pull up a loop and shift these stitches a little bit. That'll give you an idea as to how I am working down the side. So you're going to go ahead and continue to work both sides. So you're going to want to work all the way around the top and the bottom, just placing half double crochet, 1 half double crochet evenly spaced all the way around. And when you get to the end, I will meet back up with you. Once you're just going to slip stitch to your very first one, cut off your work, cut off your yarn, sew in your ends, and work the other side exactly the same. Once you have both the top and the bottom with 1 complete round of half double crochets, I will meet back up with you and we will start working on the body of the project of the bag. Okay, I have 101 half double crochets all the way around. Yours might differ depending on what size you are making it. If you chose to follow along with me, then you should be close to 101 half double crochets all the way around. And let's go ahead and get started working on the body. The construction of the body is, again, it's going to be all determined on your choice and your preference. I'm going to do a couple of rounds with you. It's a repeat over and over again, a 1 round repeat. And yeah, you just make it as long as you want. Once you have it to the length that you want, we will come back together and I will show you how to close up the bottom of it, and we'll do the handle or shoulder strap together. So I'm going to insert my hook into just one of the stitches. It doesn't matter which one, just start somewhere. Place a slip knot on my hook and pull that slip knot through that stitch. I'm going to chain one and single crochet into that stitch. And I will work over the top of my tail for this little bit right here. So one single crochet, and now we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to single crochet back into that very same stitch. And now you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to skip the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And into the 5th, you're going to repeat single crochet, chain 1, 2, 3, single crochet back into that same stitch, and chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th stitch, you're going to place a single crochet, chain 1, 2, 3, and single crochet back into that very same stitch. So you're just going to continue repeating that same pattern all the way around. And when we get back to the end here, I will meet back up with you and we will work over the last little bit together. Okay, I have one last chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I skip 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's the 5th one. And then there's only one extra here. So I had 101 stitches. You know what? It's not that big a deal. If you have an extra stitch here, it's okay. If you have 2 extra stitches here, it's okay. It's not that big a deal. There is plenty of give in your chain to just go ahead and reach straight over and slip stitch to the very first single crochet. Just like that. Now we'll look at that real quick. Get the tail thread out of the way here. Okay. So as you see, it's not that big of a difference jumping over that last stitch there and single or slip stitching to our first single crochet. It's not that big of a difference. If you want to, and adjust it so that way it works out exactly even, that's completely up to you. But I'm just showing you that if you have an extra stitch, don't fret. It is okay. Just jump right over and slip stitch to your very first single crochet. All right, this is your repeat round. So we finished the row by slip stitching to our first single crochet. We're going to slip stitch into the chain 3 space. Okay, so we're in the chain 3 space. You're going to chain 1 and single crochet back into the chain 3 space. Chain 1, 2, 3, and single crochet back into that same chain 3 space. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to jump over to our next chain 3 space, single crochet into the chain 3 space, chain 1, 2, 3, and single crochet back into that same chain 3 space. That is your repeat. That is how you start and finish the rounds. And that is your repeat for the round. You're going to continue working on doing these chain 5s and chain 3s with single crochets until the length, let me turn this over here, until the length of the body of your bag is to your desired amount. Once it has got to that point, we will meet back up and I'll show you how to finish off the bottom without doing a bunch of sewing and all that good stuff. Then we will move on to the shoulder strap. So just continue working in the round, around and around and around, until it is to your desired length. If you'd like to continue keeping a stitch marker into that very first single crochet, I would say that that is a brilliant idea. All right, go ahead and continue working on yours. I'll work on mine and we'll meet back up when we're ready to close up the bottom of it. Okay, so I've worked on the body for a total of 16 rounds. And I have a total of 19 of these chain 3 spaces. Now, yours will be dependent on whether or not you make it longer and how many of the half double crochets you started off with, how big around the circumference was. But if you're following along with me and you want to know how many rounds I did and where I sit, I'm at 16 rounds for the body, and I have a total of 19 of these chain 3 spaces. So to close up the bottom without actually like sewing all the way across, with it being an odd number, if you have an even number, let's start with that. If you have an even number of chain 3 spaces, you're just going to place those chain 3 spaces together like such, and you're going to single crochet on the front half, slip stitch to the second one, and then single crochet back to the front half again. Then you would chain your normal 5 and repeat. Single crochet to the front, slip stitch to the back chain 3, and then single crochet back to the front. So you're connecting the two with a slip stitch, and then repeat. But because I have an odd number and I can't match them up 2 for 2, I'm going to go ahead and offset them. It's fine. I'm going to work it offset. And I already have my first single crochet in here. I'm going to pull up my loop. So I have a single crochet already. I'm going to slip stitch to the chain 5 between the last chain 3 I made and the chain 3 that I slip stitched to complete the round. So I'm going to slip stitch around that chain 5 and single crochet back to that chain 3 loop. So now it's connected to that chain 5. Like that. Okay. So now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Single crochet to the back panel chain 3 loop, so the back side of your work, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, and single crochet to your next chain 3 space. So we're going to zigzag across the bottom. Now you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, reach to the back, grab your next chain 3 loop and single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, and lift up the front chain 3, your very next front chain 3, and single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, pick up your next chain 3 loop on the back, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, and we're just going to zigzag back and forth, picking up the front loop now and single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, pick up the back, chain 3 loop, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, gonna reach to the front, single crochet to that front, chain 3, chain 1, 2, now to the back, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, pick up the front, chain 3, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, and the back, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, pick up the front, chain 3, just going right down the line, single crochet, chain 1, 2, pick up the back, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, pick up your next front, chain 3 space, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, pick up the back, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, pick up the front, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, pick up the back, single crochet to it, chain 1, 2, now we're just like the other side, we have this space here that we need to account for. So we're going to single crochet to the chain 5, chain 1, 2, and single crochet to the chain 5 on the back, chain 1, 2, and pick up that last chain 3 and single crochet to it. Now I'm going to pull up a loop and put a stitch marker in it so we can look at the bottom. It's kind of jumping back and forth, but that's kind of good at the bottom of a bag. You want to definitely have some stability down there. Let's see if I can get it to open up here where you can see. So there's the bottom of the bag here, this row here, where we're jumping back and forth between the two. So there you can see how this row right here, you can see how it's connected at the bottom. No sewing, it's still a mesh at the bottom. And now the bottom of your bag is completely done. You can cut away from the ball of yarn. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and cut away from my ball of yarn. Pull my tail through and give it a little snug, and I'll come back later and sew that end in. Now we're on to making the shoulder strap. Again, the length is all based on your preference as to how you wish to, how long you wish to have it. Okay, so without sewing at all, we're going to get one side of our work, and let me zoom back out so you can see what I'm doing. So I have it laying flat from where I sewed the bottom, or where I stitched the bottom together, like this. I'm going to grab one side of my work, follow the seam down here, and now I'm going to pull it up. So that way I'm working straight up the side for my shoulder strap. If you want to do, just a small handle on the front and the back, that's perfectly okay. You just got to kind of even things out in between the two seams. But for the shoulder strap, I'm going straight up. I can see that this is where I need to account for the center. And we're going to work the same thing that we did for the top here for the shoulder strap. So we have this right here in black, that's what we're going to be doing here. I'm going to show you how to start it on the project already and not start it separately and then sew it on. We're going to go straight from the project. The only sewing in we want to do is our tails. That's it. And even then we don't want to. Okay, so you're going to want to find the center of each side seam. And I placed a stitch marker here just to remind myself that I need to go, you know, so many stitches one direction to start. So this is the center of these shells. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And into that third stitch, I'm going to place a slip knot on my hook and pull it through. Just like such. And then I'm going to chain a total of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now where I placed that stitch marker, so skip 1, 2, and into the third one, I'm going to do our little shells there. Let me remove that stitch marker now. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into that stitch. So we skip 1, 2, into the next stitch. We're going to work this shell, split shell, however you want to say it. So 1, 2, and 3 more double crochets back into the same stitch. Then you're going to skip the next 1, 2 stitches and place a double crochet into the following. And that is the beginning of our shoulder strap. So now we're going to repeat what we did before in the black. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work over. And into the chain 2 space, you're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Just like such. And then you're going to double crochet into the top of your turning chain. And repeat. Turn your work back over, chain 3, and create your next shell. Now for mine, I will have a total of 25 shells. And on the last one, I will be connecting to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and work up a total of 24 shells, and then I'll come back and show you how I connect. So once you have your desired amount of shells, or just shy of 1, you're going to lay your bag flat on the table so that way you can find all your seams and make everything nice and neat. And we're going to pick up that corner directly at the corner, fold it over, and I'm going to place a stitch marker right where my finger is in that corner here, or side. That way I can judge where I need to attach my last shells. So I'm going to get my shoulder strap all situated here so that way it's going the right direction. I'm going to turn my work and what I'm going to do is where this stitch marker is, I'm going to connect the stitch marker to the chain 2 space of our shoulder strap as well, just so that way I can show you where we're at here. Okay. So what we need to do to connect this is we need to chain 3 and slip stitch to 1, 2, 3 stitches to the right of our stitch marker. So let's go ahead and do that together. So I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pick up the bag and my shoulder strap here, and I'm going to count over to the right from the stitch marker, 1, 2, and into the third one. I'm going to go from the back of the work, yarn over and pull through. So we're slip stitching. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we're going to place 3 double crochets into this right side. So 3 double crochets into this chain 2 space. So, and you may have to take it loose from your stitch marker, from your bag. That's perfectly okay. But 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to, instead of chaining 2, we're going to chain 1, remove the stitch marker, slip stitch to the stitch that your stitch marker was in. So from the back side, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through and through, so you slip stitch. And now we're going to continue making 3 more double crochets into that same chain 2 space that we were just working in. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to place our last double crochet and connect the strap for the last time to the body of our work. So we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into the top of the turning chain of our shoulder strap. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over and go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like you would for a regular double crochet. No big deal. And then we're going to reach down and pick up our shoulder strap, or our bag here, and we're going to count from where we slip stitched to the bag at the chain 2 space. We're going to count out 2, 1, 2, and into the next, the third stitch over, we're going to slip stitch. So coming from the back of the work, yarn over and pull through and through. And now chain 2, and I'll show you why to chain 2 in just a moment. Cut away from your ball of yarn. Pull your loop all the way through, and you're going to pinch down on where you chain 2 and give a good tug, squeezing that chain 2 all the way to your work. So now you are connected to the body of your work without having to sew it together. Now all you're going to do is sew in your ends and grab your green, and we will start working around the shoulder strap with either half double crochet or single crochet. That is completely up to you. It'll help give your shoulder strap stability. All I'm going to do is slip stitch. Let me grab my green yarn here. I'm going to insert my hook into 1 stitch, 1 stitch past where I'm connected, where my last connection spot was. I'm going to go 1 stitch out, and I'm just going to slip stitch to that stitch. Now I can reach over and I'm going to crochet over some of that black tail and the green tail. I'm going to reach over and I am going to start with my half double crochets up one side of this shoulder strap here. And I'm just going to start working my half double crochets all the way. And then when I get to the other side, I'm going to do the exact same thing. When I get to the other side, I'll end with my last half double crochet and then slip stitch to the body of the bag, the top of the bag here. That way it connects it good and tight. And then I will repeat on the other side, cut away from my work, sew in my ends, and it will be done. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, to finish up, I'm on the very end of the last little bit here. As I said, you're going to skip over to the next stitch from your last connection between your shoulder strap and the bag. So we're connected here in this stitch. We're going to go over to the very following stitch and slip stitch to the bag. Then I'm again going to chain 1 and 2, cut away from my ball of yarn and pull that loop through, pinch down and squish those two to my work, just like that. And now I'll finish sewing in my ends, take the pictures and get it all set up for the beginning, which you already seen of the video. If there's any questions on how to make this bag or how to adjust it and you're just not quite sure how to go about adjusting it on your own, you can email me or ask questions over in the Facebook group. That's perfectly fine. And if I don't get back to you and it's because you sent an email and I haven't seen it, feel free to comment down below and say that you sent me an email and I will go look and see if I can find it. But let me know if you make this bag. I would love to see your version of this market bag. And if you made it bigger, smaller, exactly the same, what colors you used, I would love it. Did you use cotton? That type of stuff. So I hope that you have enjoyed the tutorial for the Beach Baby bag. And yeah, be blessed, be a blessing. And until next time, bye for now.